You wouldn't believe it, but one time I got numerous complaints about this area. This was a city dump for Clinton. It's loaded with garbage and rubble and rubbish, flies, rats, other vermin, burning all the time with smoke boiling from it. That situation has been eliminated now since we have our new sanitary landfill. We don't have those complaints that we had at one time from this source. This old sign here, for instance, it served its purpose in its day, a very useful purpose. Now we're considering whether to take it to the sanitary landfill and bury it, or up to the courthouse and hang it on the wall with a plaque on it saying retired.
The summers are hot in Alabama, and the garbage from 26,000 people just sat and simmered in the sun. This is how the dumps in the county next door look today. When Charlie made his "Let's clean up Chilton County" speeches, he'd mention swarms of pesky flies, rats. It turned out there were 1,800 of them at the Clanton City dump, smoke and air pollution, and one other matter, self-respect. The problem was very difficult. Door-to-door pickup throughout Chilton County's sparsely settled 700 square miles would have been far too expensive. And so some civic leaders thought up the idea of the green box. Locate them at convenient places along highways so they would be as close or closer than the nearby open dump. Mechanically pick up the refuse every other day with a big packer truck. Then establish a carefully operated, centrally located sanitary landfill and close the county's 40 major unauthorized open dumps and the hundreds of smaller ones. The Bureau of Solid Waste Management of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare awarded a demonstration grant. The objective, to determine if such a container collection system would be a practical solution for rural solid waste management problems which exist all over the country. The town of Clanton, the Chilton County seat, already had a good house-to-house collection system, as did the three other municipalities of Jemison, Maplesville, and Thorsby. These collection programs were continued unchanged, but the refuse was no longer taken to their 4 dumps, but rather to the new sanitary landfill. These communities approved of the new system because smoke and odor had always been a problem, and all of their dumps were nearly full. County Sanitarian Gay discovered to his sorrow that there's no simple formula for assessing rat populations and exterminating them. With the help of the Alabama Department of Health and the United States Public Health Service, the rats were exterminated and the dumps covered with clean earth. During 1969, nearly every house in the 4 incorporated towns was visited 1 or more times to explain the new solid waste disposal program and potential benefits of rat and mosquito eradication, both at the old dumps and in town. The key element of the Clean and Green project is the new sanitary landfill located on county property near the intersection of 2 major highways. The use of a single centrally located fill site would increase hauling costs somewhat, but proved to be much more economical than operating multiple landfills with duplicate equipment and personnel. The project director and the project consultant designed the landfill after taking borings, determining soil types and drainage conditions, and making a thorough study of the site. The new landfill manager attended the 1-week training course, Sanitary Landfill Principles, conducted by the Bureau of Solid Waste Management in Cincinnati.
Let's face it, after all, we were forced into the garbage collection business.
Judge Thomas Hayes of the Board of Revenue and Control.
We were using the open pit system all over the county, which didn't work out successful at all. because the people would not go to the pits and dump it. So we decided that we would go to a county-wide garbage system. Of course, we knew this was going to be a success. We had to get the people of the county to use it. So by the means, with the help of the Extension Service, our health department, and other civic organizations, we started talking clean and green. And you know, the funny thing was, when we first started putting out these cans, the telephone would ring, say, "Judge, get that can away from my place. I don't want a garbage place in my front door." So we like to wore out the first cans we got, moving them from one place to the other. But you know, after 6 months, the telephone quit ringing. Then the next 3 months, it went to ringing. "Judge, bring a can over here to my place. We need one."
The novel part of Project Clean and Green is the green box. Its use could convert an uncontrollable solid waste problem into an orderly system, if it worked. Because of the extensive mileage to be traveled, a large packer was selected, which, however, would not exceed highway load limits. It has a load lift capacity of 4,500 pounds and a capacity of 30 cubic yards. The container collection system has proved so successful that there are now 90 boxes, and each one is being emptied every other day. Most of the containers are situated along highways. It soon became apparent that during wet weather, the packer truck and people using the containers were inconvenienced by mud. Thus, a paved area was provided to facilitate all weather access. No use having a system of containers if people don't use them. So an intensive user education program was undertaken. The county extension chairman and the county sanitarian gave talks to civic clubs and church groups. The new project was promoted by the local newspaper and radio station, and even on television. Many door-to-door visits were made. However, people don't always react favorably, no matter how good the engineering proposals may be, or how intensive the salesmanship. Here is Cletus Ingram, pastor of the Walnut Creek United Methodist Church, with his comments.
When I heard that the landfill was going to come to Clanton and be located right across the highway from the Walnut Creek United Methodist Parsonage and Church, I was very much opposed because I had seen the various dumps across the country with all of the rats and the flies and the smells. But now that we have the landfill, we can see that it's cleaned Chilton County up, and I'm very much in favor of it because it does keep us clean and green.
Project Director Robert Alexander.
After learning that it would be my responsibility to take care of the Clanton landfill here in Chilton County, I decided that I would look at several landfills. And I went to several over the state and out of the state also, and mostly what we saw was a combination landfill and dump. We were determined to try to have an ideal landfill here in Chilton County. As a result, we have what I think is one of the cleanest landfills in the country.
Mr. Bob is the county engineer and supervises the whole project, which operates 7 days a week. He's hired 4 full-time men. The landfill manager weighs and records the loads brought for placement at the fill. The landfill tractor operator is almost wholly occupied with the daily placement, compaction, and covering of the wastes. The rural collection truck driver collects rural wastes and maintains his packer truck. And a utility operator substitutes for other personnel and is responsible for maintenance of wholesome environmental conditions at the sanitary landfill site. Clanton, Alabama has a population of 5,800 people. It's what damn Yankees call a sleepy southern town. But Clanton is just like any community in one respect. If you look, there's always someone who doesn't relish the thought of higher taxes. Any new and improved public works system has to cost more than the inferior system it replaced. So let's look at the politics of this situation and visit the Board of Commissioners in the Chilton County Courthouse.
Gentlemen, the next order of business will be our Clean and Green project. Jim, as you know, our Clean and Green project now is right at 2-year-old. And the board would like to ask some questions pertaining to this project, such as, do you think it's doing a good job of cleaning our right-of-ways? Also, we'd like comparison with the other systems being used over the country. And we'd like to know if pertaining to the cost of this project, are we getting our money's worth, or anything else that you might bring us up to date on our Clean and Green project.
Judge, it's a real pleasure to give you a report on Project Clean and Green. The public acceptance of our project has been most encouraging. The job that has been done of cleaning up the county is phenomenal. The costs that have been incurred are reasonable, and the real clincher is that there have been 4 other counties in the state of Alabama who have adopted the system after visiting our project. Now, during this 2-year period, we've implemented the system of containers for storage of rurally generated waste. We have operated the sanitary landfill in a way that is much better than any I've seen in operation anywhere. We have taken all of the solid waste from the municipalities in the county, and we have taken care of the solid waste generated by the industry in the county. The series of containers that I mentioned, these 4 cubic yard containers that you're each very familiar with from having driven past many times and having seen them in use, we had placed at about 43 container sites by November of last year. Now, these 43 sites had on them 57 containers, and they were arranged so that 50% of the people in the county lived nearer to one of these than 1.6 miles, and 90% of the people lived at least as close as 3.7 miles to a container. As a matter of fact, 95% of the people were nearer than 4.8 miles, so that these containers have been located to serve the people, and the people have respected the containers. They have used them and have maintained them. We have some cleanup that is necessary at the container sites, but we don't have a large amount. The people appreciate the fact that there's a system for disposal of their waste.
If a public works system produces good results and is economical, it is a good system. But if it produces good results and is expensive, lots of people will say it is a poor system. Accordingly, the project is being carefully evaluated. Every ton of refuse is weighed, and functional unit costs are being compiled for the final report. While costs will vary widely in other parts of the country, this landfill is handling 800 tons a month at about $2 per ton, including equipment amortization. Project consultant Dr. Jim Walters of the University of Alabama gives us more financial data.
Judge, responding specifically to your question on cost, it was April or May of last year before we got the entire operation to a point where we thought it was representative. During May of last year, in our rural collection system, we collected 116 tons at a unit cost of $10.17 per ton. Now, during the May of this year, we collected 184 tons, and the unit cost on that amount of waste was down to $6.75 per ton, a much more reasonable cost as a result of handling more waste during the same period. For the similar period this year, our sanitary landfill operations cost us $2.06 per ton of waste disposed, so that this is within a reasonable cost figure.
A few additional developments occurred during the project. The tendency of container lids to stand open proved objectionable. Nearby Coosa County, which is adopting the system, has procured boxes which are not as high and have a sure close lid. Operating experience has indicated the need for periodic site and container cleanup. Regular personnel operate this steam cleaning equipment to sanitize the boxes, which have drainage holes in the bottom. No sanitary problems have been experienced from steam cleanout. The county system of mobile radio communications is used to call prompt attention to trouble spots. The container system has replaced the expensive county program which previously cleaned up highway right-of-ways and stream channels. Rapid maintenance prevents a small nuisance from becoming a large one and psychologically reinforces the public's memory that the container sites are not dirty, disagreeable places. Will the green box work in your county? That depends on whether this is the right system for you, on your technical skills and local leadership. If you're interested in reading the project report, contact your regional office or the Office of Information of the Bureau of Solid Waste Management. Clean and green is not much physically, just 90 green boxes, a packer truck, a crawler tractor, a new landfill, 4 employees, and lots of closed dumps and dead rats. Really, it's a state of mind, the determination to act and cooperate, the initiative to devise a new and effective system, the engineering skill to make it work, and the human relations ability to solicit the essential public support. Clean and green is sanitarian Charlie Gay, who originally raised a rumpus, Judge Hayes, who didn't cave in when people objected, Pastor Ingram, who thought badly of it and then changed his mind, Jim Walters, who worried about the technical details, Mr. Bob, who runs it and is proud of it, and many others. The Green Box promises to go to work all over the country, but it all started in Chilton County, Alabama.